According to the annals of history, long before the Spaniards came to the island of Bohol, there were already inhabitants and villages in the province with their own culture, language, and religion. Villages were surrounded with thick forest, grassy hills, and plains in which the place of Catigbian was part of it. The town got its name from a seed-bearing plant locally known as Catigbian. In the 17th century, when Spaniards came to the province of Bohol, the first Catholic church was built in Baclayon in 1595. Catigbian was one of the villages that comprised the said town. Spanish priests were sent to these villages to teach Christianity. During the longest rebellion of Francisco de Gojoy, Catigbian, together with Sagbayan, Balilihan, Carmen, Inabanga, and Butuanan or Alicia were the villages that were controlled under his command. Upon the fall of the Gojoy Rebellion in 1824, reintegration happened. The Spaniards claimed their lots. Some people of the coastal towns of Inabanga, Tubigon, Calape, and Loon left their houses and settled in the hinterlands of Bohol. These settlers formed small villages, cultivated the land, and planted crops as food source and livelihood. In San Jacinto, a name to represent Bohol Governor Jacinto Borja, soon to rise town of Catigbian, stood as an independent area. Spanish friars from nearby parish of Baclayon and the mother town of Balilihan sailed back to the place regularly to administer the mission. It was in 1848 that the Immaculate Conception Parish was organized and formed. It was also in that year that a chapel was constructed through the effort of the people. Spanish priests from the town of Baclayon regularly visit the chapel formally. When the Filipino-American War broke out on February 4, 1899, American soldiers who came to the town burned both private and public buildings in the area in revenge for the ambushes the native rebels claimed over the foreign dominators. During the American regime, laws were enacted, lands were subdivided and distributed to the people. The Homestead Act was promulgated and implemented. With this fair system, schools were opened in some places in Catigbian. The entire old town of Catigbian was put to cultivation due to the increase of population. When the Filipino-American-Japanese War broke out, Catigbianans helped in fighting the Japanese enemies. They formed the so-called Bolo battalions of the resistance movement. They posted as guards both day and night in the different places of the town while most of their families were running and transferring from one place to another to evade the abuses of Japanese soldiers. After the war, there was a strong clamor among the villagers to revive the old town of Catigbian. To create a greater power and force, the enthusiasts formed and organized a group known as Ang Mga Anak sa Catigbian. The cohesiveness and eagerness of the group to rebuild the old town of Catigbian pushed them to send Mr. Simplicio Maniwang to Manila to solicit the help of Congressman Simeon Toribio. Luckily, on June 17, 1949, His Excellency President Elpidio Quirino, by virtue of Executive Order Number 229, declared the town as an independent municipality and named San Jacinto in honor of the late Governor Jacinto Borja. Mayor Blanco was also credited as the one who changed the name Jacinto to Catigbian. The town owning 17 original barangays, namely Poblacion, Hagilanan, Ambuan, Hagbuaya, Baang, Triple Union, Alegria, Kauswagan Norte,
这一次
Kandumayaw,
我真的睡着了
Buenos Aires, Libertad, Cabanugan, San Isidro, Cambansag, Kauswagan Sur, Kaimbang, and Kansangi.